Welcome to our deep dive into the world of artificial intelligence. We're using the history of artificial intelligence as our guide today to uncover the surprising evolution of AI. From its philosophical roots to the cusp of modern advancements, get ready for a fascinating journey. You might be surprised to learn where the story begins.
It really is fascinating to see how a concept we often associate with cutting-edge technology actually has roots in ancient philosophy.
That's right, we're going all the way back to ancient Greece. Did you ever think Aristotle would be part of the AI story?
Perhaps not directly, but his work on logic and syllogisms laid a foundation. It's like he was creating a framework for how to think methodically, which is key to replicating thought processes in machines.
So these syllogisms, were they like early algorithms?
You could see it that way, yeah. A syllogism is a structured argument where if your premises are true, then the conclusion must also be true. It's a way of formalizing reasoning, which is what we try to do with algorithms today.
That's an interesting connection. It's like Aristotle was coding in a language only philosophers understood.
Exactly. And this idea of mechanizing thought continues to appear throughout history. In the 17th century, thinkers like Descartes and Leibniz were already dreaming of machines that could mimic human thought.
And Leibniz, he was the one with that intriguing idea about a universal language for reasoning, right?
Yes. Leibniz believed you could break down any argument, any thought process into a series of symbols and calculations. If he had access to today's technology, he might have been a pioneering computer programmer.
Wow, talk about being ahead of his time. But let's jump forward to the 20th century, and the man who many consider the father of AI, Alan Turing. What made his contributions so significant?
Alan Turing's impact on AI is monumental. His concept of the universal machine was groundbreaking. He envisioned a machine that could solve any problem as long as it had the right instructions.
So basically, he came up with the blueprint for every computer we use today.
Essentially, yes. He shifted our understanding of computation away from specific machines and towards the underlying logic. His universal machine provided the theoretical foundation for the computers we have today.
And we can't forget about the famous Turing Test, his attempt to answer the age-old question, can machines think? That sparked a lot of debate, didn't it?
Absolutely. The Turing Test aimed to determine if a machine could exhibit intelligent behavior indistinguishable from a human. It wasn't about tricking people, but about establishing a benchmark for measuring a machine's ability to think. It remains influential even today.
It's amazing how Turing's work sparked this wave of excitement about AI in the mid-20th century. There was a real sense of possibility, wasn't there?
Definitely. The 1950s was a period of intense optimism and groundbreaking research. That's when the term artificial intelligence was coined. Pioneers like John McCarthy, Marvin Minsky, and Hilbert Simon led the charge, developing early AI programs like Logic Theorist and General Problem Solver. These programs demonstrated the potential of computers to reason like humans.
It sounds like a golden age for AI research, but wasn't there a period of disillusionment that followed? The so-called AI winter?
Unfortunately, yeah. The initial hype led to some unrealistic expectations. Computers back then simply lacked the processing power and the vast amounts of data needed to achieve the ambitious goals set for AI.
So what kinds of challenges were researchers running into?
What seemed effortless for humans, like understanding language or recognizing faces, proved incredibly difficult for computers.
So it's like trying to teach a young child advanced calculus. They might get the basic concepts, but the complexity is just beyond their grasp.
That's a good analogy. And this gap between expectation and reality led to a decline in funding and research, a period we now call the AI winter. But it's important to note that research continued, albeit at a slower pace. This period saw advancements in areas like knowledge representation and reasoning, which laid the groundwork for later breakthroughs.
AI seems to have a knack for bouncing back, though. What pulled it out of this slump?
A more focused approach called expert systems emerged. Instead of aiming for general intelligence, researchers honed in on specific areas where AI could excel.
So it's like recognizing that it's easier to teach a computer to be a chess grandmaster than to be a Renaissance man.
Exactly. One notable example is MYCIN, an expert system developed in the 1970s. It was remarkably successful at diagnosing blood infections, showcasing the power of AI within a defined domain.
Focusing on specific tasks makes a lot of sense. But what were the limitations of these expert systems? Were there any drawbacks to this approach?
Well, one major limitation was their dependence on pre-programmed rules. They couldn't adapt to new situations or learn from experience in the way that humans do. And building these systems was a laborious process that required extensive knowledge from human experts.
So they were powerful in their niche, but lacked flexibility. How did AI overcome this hurdle?
The 1990s marked a significant turning point with the rise of machine learning. This was a fundamental shift in how we approached AI. Instead of being explicitly programmed, computers could now learn patterns and make predictions based on data.
So it's like going from handing a student a textbook to letting them explore a library and draw their own conclusions.
That's a great way to put it. This shift was driven by the explosion of digital data and the development of more powerful hardware. Suddenly, we had the resources to feed computers vast amounts of information and let them learn on their own.
This machine learning sounds like a game changer, but can you give me a real-world example of this new approach in action?
A defining moment came in 1997 when IBM's Deep Blue defeated chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov. It wasn't just about chess. It was a powerful demonstration of AI's ability to outmaneuver a human champion in a game of strategy and complex calculation.
The match between Deep Blue and Kasparov captured the world's imagination. Do you think it marked a turning point in public perception of AI?
Absolutely. Deep Blue's victory shattered the perception of AI's limitations and ignited renewed interest in the field. But what's even more remarkable is that Deep Blue relied primarily on brute computational power. The real revolution was yet to come.
Deep Blue was impressive, no doubt, but it sounds like it was just the tip of the iceberg. What happened next in the evolution of AI?
You're right. Deep Blue was a pivotal moment. But the development of neural networks truly revolutionized the field. These algorithms, inspired by the structure of the human brain, took machine learning to a whole new level.
Neural networks. They sound complex. Can you break it down for me?
Imagine a network of interconnected nodes, kind of like a digital version of neurons in the brain. Each connection between these nodes can be strengthened or weakened based on the data the network is exposed to. This allows the network to learn patterns and make predictions in a way that resembles human cognition.
So instead of just crunching numbers, these neural networks are actually mimicking the way our brains learn.
Exactly. It's a much more sophisticated approach to AI. And it led to some incredible breakthroughs. For example, in 2012, a neural network called AlexNet revolutionized computer vision. It achieved superhuman performance in image recognition tasks, demonstrating that AI could actually see and interpret images with remarkable accuracy.
That's incredible. It's like giving a computer the gift of sight. What other areas did neural networks impact?
Around the same time, natural language processing, or NLP, made significant leaps forward thanks to neural networks. Suddenly, computers could understand and generate human language with impressive fluency. This paved the way for virtual assistants like Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant.
It's amazing how quickly these virtual assistants became part of our everyday lives. I remember when Siri first came out, it felt like the future was arriving. Do you think AI has lived up to the hype?
In many ways, yes. AI is now deeply integrated into our lives, even if we don't always realize it. It's working behind the scenes, powering everything from personalized recommendations on Netflix to the algorithms that manage global supply chains.
It's like AI is quietly orchestrating so much of our modern world. But with this growing influence, don't you think there are potential downsides we need to consider?
You're right, we can't just focus on the exciting possibilities without acknowledging the potential challenges. One significant concern is the impact of AI on the job market. As AI-powered automation becomes more sophisticated, it has the potential to displace workers in various industries.
That's a valid concern. We're already seeing AI taking on roles that were once considered exclusively human, driving trucks, diagnosing diseases, even writing news articles. How do we prepare for a future where AI is increasingly integrated into the workforce?
It's a complex issue with no easy answers. It requires a multifaceted approach, investing in education and retraining programs, fostering collaboration between humans and AI, and exploring new economic models that ensure everyone benefits from technological advancements. We need to be proactive in addressing these challenges.
It's a reminder that AI is not just a technological evolution, but a societal one. We need to carefully consider its impact on our economy, our social structures, and even our sense of what it means to be human.
Absolutely. As AI continues to evolve, we need to engage in open and honest conversations about its potential benefits and risks. We need to be mindful of how we develop and deploy these powerful technologies.
It's like we're holding a powerful tool. We need to use it responsibly and thoughtfully, ensuring that it serves humanity as a whole.
Precisely. One of the most fascinating and potentially concerning aspects of AI is the concept of artificial general intelligence, or AGI. AGI. That's where things start to sound like science fiction, right?
Mm.
What exactly does it mean?
AGI refers to a hypothetical type of AI that possesses intelligence equal to or surpassing human intelligence across all domains. It's a machine capable of learning anything a human can, solving any problem, and even potentially exceeding our creative abilities.
It's a mind-boggling concept. What are the implications of creating a machine with that level of intelligence?
The possibilities are both exciting and daunting. AGI could potentially solve some of the world's most challenging problems, from curing diseases to mitigating climate change. But it also raises profound questions about control, ethics, and the very nature of consciousness.
It sounds like we're entering uncharted territory. If we create a machine that can potentially outthink us, how do we ensure it aligns with human values? That's the million-dollar question. And it's one that researchers, philosophers, and policymakers are grappling with right now. It's a conversation that needs to happen before we reach a point where technology surpasses our ability to control it.
It's a reminder that we need to be proactive in shaping the future of AI. We can't just let it unfold on its own. We need to guide its development in a way that benefits humanity as a whole.
I completely agree. It's not about fearing the future, but about shaping it responsibly. And that starts with understanding where we've come from and where we're headed.
It feels like we're on the verge of a new era with AI. We've traced its evolution from ancient philosophical ideas to the brink of creating machines that might surpass human intelligence. It's a bit overwhelming to think about, isn't it?
It certainly is a lot to take in. We've come so far in a relatively short amount of time, and the pace of advancement seems to be accelerating. But as we move forward, it's important to remember that AI is ultimately a reflection of ourselves.
What do you mean by that?
Well, AI systems are built by humans, trained on data created by humans, and designed to solve problems defined by humans.
Yeah.
They reflect our ingenuity, but also our biases and limitations. Understanding this is crucial to shaping a future where AI is a force for good.
So it's not about creating AI that's separate from us, but about integrating it into our world in a responsible way.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that AI is a powerful tool with the potential for both positive and negative impacts. The key is to guide its development with wisdom and foresight.
You mentioned biases. Can you elaborate on that? How do our biases affect AI development?
It all comes down to the data. AI systems learn from the data they are fed. And if that data reflects existing societal biases, whether conscious or unconscious, the AI will inevitably perpetuate and even amplify those biases.
So it's like if you teach a child using only biased textbooks, they're going to learn a skewed version of history.
That's a good analogy. It's crucial to ensure that the data used to train AI systems is diverse, representative, and free from harmful biases. This requires a commitment to fairness and inclusivity throughout the entire development process.
It sounds like a lot of responsibility rests on the shoulders of AI developers.
It's certainly a shared responsibility. Developers, researchers, policymakers, ethicists, and even the general public all have a role to play in shaping the ethical guidelines and principles that govern AI development.
It's not just about the code itself, but about the values and intentions we embed in these technologies.
Precisely. We need to be asking ourselves tough questions. What are the potential consequences of this technology? How do we ensure it is used ethically and responsibly? How do we mitigate potential risks and maximize its benefits for all of humanity?
It's like navigating uncharted territory. We're explorers in a new world, and we need to be mindful of the impact our footsteps have on this landscape.
That's a great way to put it. And just like explorers, we need to proceed with caution, curiosity, and a deep respect for the terrain we're traversing. We need to be prepared to adjust our course as we learn more and encounter new challenges.
It's exciting and a little bit daunting at the same time. What are some key things we should be focusing on as we move forward?
Well, one crucial area is transparency. We need to understand how AI systems work, how decisions are made, and what data is being used. This transparency is essential for building trust and accountability.
So it's about lifting the hood and making sure everything is running as it should.
Exactly. We need to be able to audit these systems, identify potential biases or errors, and ensure that they are operating in a way that aligns with our values.
What about the concerns around job displacement that we talked about earlier? How do we navigate that challenge?
It's important to remember that throughout history, technological advancements have always disrupted the job market, but they've also created new opportunities in industries that we couldn't have imagined before. The key is to adapt and evolve.
So it's not about resisting change, but about anticipating it and preparing for it.
Precisely. We need to invest in education and retraining programs, focus on developing skills that complement AI, and foster a culture of lifelong learning.
It sounds like we need a shift in mindset, both individually and as a society.
I think you're right. We need to embrace the potential of AI while also being mindful of its limitations. We need to be proactive in shaping its development and ensure that it serves humanity in a positive and beneficial way.
It's been an incredible journey exploring the history and potential of AI with you. I'm left with a sense of awe at how far we've come and a renewed sense of responsibility for the path that lies ahead.
It's been my pleasure sharing this exploration with you and our listeners. The future of AI is an unfolding story, and we all have a role to play in writing the next chapter.
To our listeners, we hope this deep dive has left you with a sense of wonder, curiosity, and perhaps even a bit of healthy caution. The world of AI is complex and constantly evolving, but by staying informed, engaged, and thoughtful, we can help shape a future where AI empowers humanity and helps us create a better world.